All right, this is Chad Summers again, episode number 3 for the Husky Howl podcast. I'm joined by Director of Bands, Dr. Knauss, Hewitt-Trussville High School, and also one of our drum majors, Levi Buckner.
Yes, sir.
Is a senior coming up this year. You were a drum major last year as a junior, so you're a two-timer, so that's
pretty fun.
Yeah, pretty fun. So unfortunately, we're not joined by Dr. Hamilton. She had a conflict, couldn't be with us, so we're going to fly solo today, and she makes the podcast a lot better. Just top to bottom, but she can't be here, so I'll just limp through this one, and we'll see what we got. But I'm so thankful for both of your times and being with us as we get ready for another football season. What goes through your mind, Dr. Knauss, this time of year when everything is about to start, band camp's on the horizon as we record this? What's going through your mind right now?
Well, really, it's just all the things that we have to do. But honestly, I mean, it's an exciting time. We're always excited to gear up and prepare the show what the crowd is, show the crowd what we've been working on. Hope the weather will, cooperate with us. Whether it's Alabama, it's either 100 degrees or it's raining, pouring outside. So,
yeah, we've had some torrential rains already this summer, like crazy, 3-4 inches in a short amount of time.
We have, yeah.
And that can wreck a band camp in a minute.
It can, yeah. So we typically schedule band camp 8 to 5. That's last 2 weeks. And so we have set time that we go outside, try to get out in the morning when it's a little bit cooler, in the afternoon when like after the peak hours where the sun is out. And it rains during those times, and then we're kind of out of luck for that day. So we try to do the best we can. When we have great weather, awesome. But if we don't, we go inside, we learn music, we find the ways to make the most of it.
Yeah. So as we get ready for a new year, right now, do the kids, do they know what they're, like, do they already have the music in hand, or will they be introduced to it like next week, or when do they get the music and start?
Yeah, so we actually announced the show, it would have been May last year. Announced the show in May at our band banquet, which went very well. I think we're all very excited about the show. And usually what goes into making a show is, we'll sit down as a staff and decide this is kind of the direction we want to go. This is the music choices. This is the theme. And from there, the music we go out to others, and the music is written specifically for our band, which takes a little bit of time. So the students don't have the music yet, but as soon as they get here for band camp, we hit the ground running on it. And this week alone, we had some sectionals where we started working on technique and dusting the rust off a little bit and amping up to be ready for camp.
Yeah. Levi, you're as a drum major. I had a daughter that was a drum major, so I know a little bit. Not much, but I know a little bit. When does marching season officially begin for you mentally? Like, you're not out there, but
mentally. I think my idea, at least, is like May is kind of the school in my head. July is dedicated to band, so like June is the only summertime I have, and when July 1st starts, I'm like, oh, it's band time. And so like that's when I start getting into the mentality of like waking up earlier in the mornings, like getting ready for the 8 o'clock kind of works. So yeah.
What is your job? What is the job of the drum major that most people don't see, that they don't know about? We see you on Friday nights. We see you on the platform. But what does a drum major do that people have no idea what's involved?
A funny one would be like putting up the equipment, setting up the sound systems for marching band every day. But I think something behind the scenes that we do is just making sure everything runs smoothly. A lot of the time, a lot of the band members just see us as conducting the podiums, like you said, but they don't see the work that we go into before band camp starts, setting up the music, getting forms ready for everyone. Like me and the other 3 drum majors have had at least 6 meetings already, just looking at listening to the music that we have been given, trying to figure out what we want to conduct. And it goes into processes such as like, will the kids be at band camp, like, I don't want to do this. So we had to think about ways of how we're going to make this fun. Like, are we going to add games, dress-up days, or another fun thing that we do? It took 4 hours for us to figure out that, because it's like how much participation will people want to like be involved into this. So,
And when you say we, you're talking about you and the other
Drum majors.
Drum majors.
Yes.
Drum majors. How many drum majors are there?
4 this year, so it's going to be fun. Me, Riley Morris, Jack Howard, and Bailey Brown.
Okay. So you're having to pre-plan band camps before the 200 some odd kids get there, and talk about what it's like to be a leader and as a student your age, that among your peers, and what it requires, and what is that like?
It's kind of weird because it's like they're my age, and it's like they might not listen to me, but I have to remember, like, I'm not going to be like a dictator. It's going to be, I'm more of like a shepherd and a sheep kind of thing. Like, I'm not a higher power than them. I just kind of like, hey, let's do this, or like suggest things in a positive way that will lead to a better outcome. I'm not more of like above them. We're the same, but I just kind of lead.
I think what we really try to talk about is servant leadership and how we can go from, being individuals to a team and creating that group culture, family culture within the band program. And our student leaders are very good about doing that. We're very excited about them this year. Yesterday we had the all on campus. They helped put packets in binders and get the drill ready for the field show and several other things just to make sure that we're ready to go when everybody gets on campus.
And you're talking about not just drum majors, but section leaders.
That's
and
right.
Others and
Yeah,
things like that.
we have a whole leadership team. We have section leaders who are over their individual sections. We have a library staff that helps us copy music, make sure things stay organized, drill, and whatnot. We have a group called the Special Ops, which it's a very cool name, but they're in charge of loading trucks, making sure that our fields stay painted. Just a lot of the legwork that is involved with running a 7A program, making sure that the wheels are always going.
Yeah, and it's weird. We're about to go back down to 6A. The 7 distinction's going away. It's going to take a long time.
It's going to take a while to get used to that.
I kind of feel like you're getting a demotion. But
It feels that way.
It's not. It's not. But so when you're talking about leaders like Levi and section leaders, it's sure there's the musical element, but you're really looking for leaders, like actual leaders that other students will listen to, or that you can at least train. And I mean, it's not just music.
Right. There is a lot that goes into it. And really what we've been gearing towards the last few years is making or allowing our leaders to have a little bit more space. And I think that it's really about the real world practicality of being a leader and what that means. And I like to say that we're not just building professional musicians. That's not our end goal. Our end goal is building professional people. And so when we go out into the real world, you're going to have to be in charge of your peers. What does that look like, and how do we kind of approach that in a positive way so that we're building future leaders who can be successful no matter where they go?
And these students that are 15, 16, 17, a few of them 18 early in the fall. I was a early birthday, so that would have been me. For those of us that aren't necessarily musical, it's weird. My dad was a band director at Hewitt for 20 years and some change. My kids were in the band. They were, but I'm not musical per se myself. But it's like speaking another language, and I mean, it really is the closest thing that you can compare it to is, and then you have to speak the language through an instrument, and then you have to go on the field and march around while you're doing it and do formations. And to the common person, it looks difficult, but to a professional, how can you describe that process? Are you amazed that it happens every year?
Yes, actually. There is a lot that goes into it because there's two fundamental areas. There's the playing aspect of it, and then there's the visual aspect of it. It's very much a physical activity. And, pair that with being in the Alabama heat. A lot of these students come in and they know how to play their horns, but at the end of the day, we have to teach them how to play and march at the same time, which is a big undertaking. And every year, credit to the kids that they work hard and they always make it happen and they always put out a great product on the field. And we just have the best students.
Yeah. And before you were a drum major, you played an instrument. What instrument was your instrument of choice?
I marched mellophone.
Mellophone.
Yes.
Okay. So, and that's a trumpet hybrid kind of thing.
It's weird. It's like, it sounds like a French horn, but it has the trumpet fingering.
Yes, Levi plays French horn in the top concert ensemble.
Right. So the concert band version of the mellophone is the French horn.
Yes, sir.
So, do you have any aspirations of doing band after high school and college, or?
So the goal right now, I'm going to Auburn. So the goal right now is to play in the wind ensemble, but to get into the wind ensemble at least. But they have symphonic and wind. But I really want to do marching, because I want to be drum major there. So like I got to practice for that.
So you want to try out for drum major once you get there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and that's not 10 people try out for that. That's 30, 40.
It's a good bit. Yeah, it's different from high school a little bit. So
Yeah. I'll never forget. But like I said, both my girls did band in college, and the first time seeing Caroline come out of the tunnel and look up, and she was at Alabama, but looking up and literally I have the binoculars on her, and she just goes,
That's got to be awesome.
yeah.
Experience.
And it was some nobody Middle Tennessee State team or something. Excuse me, Missy. But but I imagine those moments also happen at Hewitt-Trussville Stadium with your incoming freshmen that have been in Mr. Peters' band,
Right.
and then all of a sudden they're there. What are those moments like when you see the kids for the first time kind of realize that they're a part of the Hewitt-Trussville Marching Husky Band?
Yeah, I think, and I'm going to let Levi talk about this a little bit too, but I think it's always awesome to see the work you put in. And sometimes it seems like that work, there's no end in sight. It just keeps going. So what's the payoff? Well, the performance is the payoff. And the crowd is the payoff, and getting to showcase what that hard work is. And so, in my opinion, there's nothing like marching across the bridge, and then entering Husky Stadium, and then performing and hearing the applause at the end of a show. And then you get to see the look on the kids' faces, and I think at that moment you realize, this is what we're here for.
Yeah.
And I think maybe Levi will have a little bit more to say about that.
I remember being a freshman marching mellophone, and I remember my first game playing our show for halftime, and I just remember being like, wow, this is incredible. Like, this is the payoff. Like, I remember doing band camp, and I'm going to be honest, I didn't love it because it was hot, but I was just like, why did I do this? But then after the first game and hearing the applause and just seeing people standing up for our band, I was like, wow, this is something I want to do. And so it has just been something I look forward to every year, is doing show after show, because I get to perform with my friends and just, it's incredible. Yeah.
What do you think you'll remember about band 10 years from after you graduate?
Honestly, the connections I made through the band. I remember going into high school and all of my friends jumped out of band, so I had to kind of figure out my new kind of group. And I remember just connecting with all these different people in band, and they're still my friends today.
Yeah.
And so like all of them, we're all going to Auburn together. It's like the connections that I had starting in band my freshman year, I know will last a lot longer than high school.
It's all about relationships.
Yes.
So yeah, it's incredible. But I want to get back to band camp in the heat, because it is hot.
It's hot.
As blue blood, and it's funny you said we go 8 to 5. We go in the cooler times, brother. After 6:30, there are no coolers.
I know. It does seem that way.
Yeah, at 4 o'clock it cools down to 98.
Right.
So, but describe, what does it actually feel like out there? Like I mean, I know we all know it's hot, but your clothes are sticking to you. You've got some kids that maybe have not done this before, and what is the psychology behind band camp, and is it psychological to some degree?
I think 100% psychological, because there is an element of getting over that hump of, there is that, can we do this? Can we make it through this? And how are we going to do that? And why are we doing this? So I do think finding the why is always that important first step. Our student leaders do a great job of motivating and keeping the students engaged, but there is definitely no experience like a band camp in Alabama. And like I said, 1 minute it's going to be 107 outside, the next minute it's raining. Mm-hmm. Well, then guess what? It's still 107, but now you've got the 100% humidity.
Yeah.
So
that rain is fool's gold.
That's right.
You think it's, this is great, kills us off, then it stops, and the sauna.
That's right.
Yeah.
And for those who don't know, our practice field is over the Cahaba. So we go across a bridge, and typically during band camp, we create a giant tent city over there, so that students can have coolers, drinks, the ability to get some shade when they need to. And so it's not too bad. We also have great facilities here at Trussville City Schools, so we're able to use our indoor pavilion, and then the stadium as well, and that's hugely helpful.
Yeah, I noticed that one, I think it was last year, and now I saw Color Guard using it. I saw and it's only 50 yards, so you're limited on what you can do. But it's amazing. I saw the drum line under there a couple of times. I'm sure there's others that I missed, but it's like a 15-degree difference between direct sunlight and under that pavilion.
That's a huge difference. And honestly, even in the stadium, there is no shade, but as compared to like the humidity that's closer over to where the river is.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it's a huge difference. And it's just a beautiful stadium. So it's just awesome to be able to perform in there.
Yeah, absolutely. It's wide open. So with band camp, though, hydration, safety, that's emphasized.
Something that we just preach all the time, and it goes out on social
drinking
media.
water.
That's right. Start hydrating. Yeah.
What still gives you goosebumps? And how long have you done this? How long have you been in
This will be my 10th year this year.
Your 10th year, and you transformed from Mr. Knauss to Dr. Knauss like a year or two ago, or how long?
It was last year. It was actually almost a year to the day at this point.
Do you stop people and make them call you Dr. Knauss?
There was a time at first, and now I think it's just one of those things. We just we'll let it cycle through.
Yeah, I would correct everybody. I say, excuse me, it's a wrong number, but it's Dr. Summers. Yes, we're after this. What still gives you goosebumps after all these years?
I think the performance itself. We go to competitions, and I don't think we should never gear anything towards the trophy, because it should always be about the journey itself and how we get there. The trophy is great. Yeah. That's awesome. But the goal is how much can we grow? How good can we become? And whether can we become good? Can we become great? And what's that going to take to get there? So I think getting goosebumps is like the thrill of doing a performance and knowing that the students have done the best that they possibly could, that we've had the best show that we can. And whether that's marching band or concert band or any of those things, I think that's what the ultimate goal is the journey and then the feeling after you have a performance.
Yeah, and sometimes the thing about band competitions that most people, maybe they realize, maybe they don't, they're so subjective. Like if we have a free throw shooting competition, you can see that I had 9 go in and I missed one, so I'm 9. Mm-hmm. And Hoover goes behind me, and they had 7, so I'm ahead of Hoover or whoever who's in the band contest. But it's you're literally going by the opinions of whoever the people are.
That's correct. That's correct. Yeah.
Have you ever gotten just frustrated and thought, okay, they got this wrong. Okay, who's getting paid off up there? I'm being facetious, but
yeah. But
you pour your heart into it, and it's subjective, and it's somebody's opinion.
That's right. I think it's always it's a double-edged sword, right? Because I'm inherently biased. Anytime we go somewhere, I'm going to fight for our program and what I think. But I also know that there are 100 programs just like us with students who are working just as hard and trying to put their product out on the field as best they can. And ultimately, our activity is a student-centered activity. That's what we're focused on is growing students the best that we possibly can and the experience itself. So ultimately, at the end of the day, there's some frustration sometimes. But if we take a step back and look at it, while there has to be a winner, the real winner in the situation is the students themselves getting to have that experience.
Yeah, and then you come together and you see, and you meet other students from other bands, and you kind of see that we're kind of all alike.
Yeah, we're all alike. I remember other drum majors coming up to us and we get pictures and we just talk for like 20 minutes, and it's like cool to see their backgrounds and what they play, and we're all the same. We're just going out, we're hanging out, we're having fun, we're putting our show on the field, and we're just enjoying what we're doing.
Yeah. Talk about the what was it, the Georgia
Peach State competition.
We won last year.
Yes.
What does that feel like when you're on the field and you're waiting to hear the name called and it's us, and then you reflect after all the months and weeks, and what is that moment like for you?
I get very stressed very easily, and I remember standing on the field at the end just dreading when they would get down to the open class, and so they finally got to us, and I'm just like, oh gosh. And we went there our freshman year, we lost, we got second place. Well, that's not a loss actually. We put out a show, someone had a greater show, but
Their opinion.
yeah, their opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm biased, so I said we did a better show, but
I think we won them all.
Yeah. But we were standing there, and I was like, I couldn't breathe. Like, I was just like, I couldn't breathe. I was so stressed about it. And then when they got to the who won overall, they said the third place. And then when they said the second place, I was just like, oh no, it's going to happen again. And then they said another band instead of ours. And I just remember me and Murphy, the head judge major from last year, we just looked at each other and we were just like, we were just shocked. We had no words. And it was just like, at that moment, I was like reflecting on the hardships we went through, the fun times, and just the experiences that we went since July started. And I'm just going back and I'm saying like, that's why I did this. It was like, this was such an incredible thing to experience, and that's why I look back to. It's like, I want to feel that again this upcoming year. So
have we already chosen what competitions we're going to this year?
Yeah, at the moment, it'll be a competition at the end of September, which should be in Albertville. And then I believe it'll be the third week of October. We're looking at Hayden, Alabama.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So those are chosen well in advance, and do they market to you? How do you find out about these?
Yeah, typically, and so we host our own also, and so there's a lot.
So we are going to do that again this year.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And we get some revenue for that.
100%.
Yes,
I mean, we can talk about that later.
Yeah, that's
A shameless plug, but
there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. So we always we will have to take a look at the football schedule once we get it and make sure that we're lining it up with weeks where we think it's going to be good for us to go. We don't necessarily want to take away breaks from anybody, so we will avoid fall break, and we look for the big games and make sure that we're prepped for those, whether that's Thompson or Hoover or whatnot. And then we look at what weeks are going to work best for the students and pick it based off of that. And then once we pick those dates, we look at the competitions that are going to be available for those dates.
Yeah.
And speaking of competitions, the Trussville Marching Invitational will be on October 3rd. The exhibition performance will be at University of North Alabama. We're looking forward to having them perform for us. Typically, we have between 12, 16 bands that come and
I think
perform.
we have some former Huskies that are in that band.
100%. Yeah, absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
to have them back. And our stadium is actually perfect for these band competitions. It's wide open.
Yeah.
You've got the big auxiliary field up top, and then you have the soccer field if you need to assemble over there.
That's right.
It's actually perfect.
It's a giant production that happens, and we're lucky enough to have great directors and staff and parents and students who volunteer to make it a successful day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but there's nothing wrong with fundraising, because it's pretty expensive to do what you're doing.
It's very expensive.
How much does a mellophone cost?
A good one, probably like $4,000.
Yeah, $4,000. How much does a clarinet cost?
Similar in price, and then you go up into like sousaphone land, and you're talking 10 plus.
Yeah.
So it's expensive. We try to keep our instruments in good working order.
No, and that's the thing. I mean, that's my point. Is whatever fundraiser you can do, however you can be supported, however folks can come out, and a lot of people don't realize when you go to a football game and you go buy a hamburger,
You're directly supporting the band. That's absolutely
Correct.
correct. And so we are. It's interesting. We have our nonprofit organization, which is our band foundation, and they are able. They help us run concessions, and all of this is run by band parents. So they help us run concessions, the TMI Trussville Marching Invitational, and a variety of other fundraisers. And those fundraisers allow us to keep band fees low. And so I think our costs usually hover around $400, which has gone up a little bit because of travel expenses and whatnot.
Yeah.
But when you compare it to some of the other bands in our area, that is basically half of what other students are paying. And we never want to turn away a student because of money or financial situation. So we want to keep that as low as possible. And it's only possible because of the concessions that we sell on Friday nights, because of TMI and the revenue that we bring in for that. And also just making sure that we're taking care of the beautiful facilities, the instruments that we already have, and it's just something that we're proud of and very happy to be a part of.
No, it's crazy expensive, and y'all are great stewards of what you've been given. And what I've seen, one of the things that's the most impressive thing to me are the band parents, the volunteers that man those concession stands. A lot of them, and I think they take turns, but some of them are missing their babies on the field because they're in there serving hot dogs.
That's right.
And I'm sure they like I said, they'll swap up. And,
100%. Yeah.
But we have 3 completely different walk-up restaurants at Hewitt-Trussville Stadium that is completely run by the band, stocked, staffed, run. I mean, and also meet health department.
That's correct.
Standards.
Yeah, to the highest standard. Absolutely.
To the highest standards.
The highest standard.
And so it really is crazy that the, lack of a better word, the organism that is the Hewitt-Trussville Marching Husky Band, and how many angles there are to it, and it runs every single year. And it starts right about now.
That's right.
And it wraps in late October.
That's right.
And then we go into the playoffs and see what happens. And
There we go.
Yeah.
y'all are flaking the football team wherever you go. What honestly, what goes through your mind? And this may be a low question, but you know, we find out who we're playing the playoffs 2 years ago. We find out we're playing Baker in Mobile, or you find it you're going far away because those
First thing is
nobody's handing you those buses.
That's right. Logistics and money and what's going to go into that. And, once you start going into travel, it's how do you feed 280 students, in a timely manner and make sure that you arrive on time and get the instruments off the buses to perform. And there is a lot of moving parts that go into that, making it happen. Luckily, we're surrounded with wonderful people who make it happen, and students that understand the expectations and always do a great job.
If you could say something to all the parents and volunteers who make the operation work right now, and I'm sure you do, but if you could, if they were listening right now, which they may be, what would you say to them?
I would just say thank you. I mean, what we do is so important because everything that y'all are doing is directly benefiting our students. And not just students, your student, but so many others. And I think that's just a great thing to put in perspective too. Because at the end of the day, we can look at the product on the field and we see everybody working as one, and that's our goal. But every single person on that field is having an experience, and every single person is going to take something away from that, which is a beautiful thing and something that we're trying to do. We want to create that experience, and it's only possible through hours worked, volunteers making that possible, the fundraising, the long hours, and we just could not say thank you enough.
Yeah.
It's just a wonderful thing.
I mean, there's so many. You go to the concession stand and it's different people every time, and work in the band competitions, and
That's right.
and like you have the Rockathon coming up, I think, and mattress sales.
That's right. That's right.
Are we doing the mattress sales
Yes,
again?
sir. Not this year, but you can catch us next year.
Yeah. But the Rockathon's coming up.
Rockathon is huge, yeah. So we students will get a rocking chair, which typically means it's a recliner.
Yep.
Camp out in the band room for 24 hours rocking, and they'll collect pledges. So if you have a student come up to you asking for pledges, donate.
Say yes. Say yes. What would you say to your freshman self? If you could go back and talk to yourself, 8th grade coming into 9th grade, what would you tell yourself about
Just
your experience?
It's worth it. The payoff in the end, looking back, is just incredible. Like, going into 9th grade, I was really debating about whether I wanted to do marching or not, and I'm glad I made that decision, because looking back, I'm like, I don't know why I ever had to struggle with that question, because if I saw myself today, I'd be like, I want to be there. I don't know how you get there. I want to be there.
So just it's worth it.
It's just worth it.
Going.
Yeah.
Well, guys, this has been amazing, and like I said, I appreciate your time, and it's so timely because, like I said, we take for granted. I don't, because I know behind the scenes what it is, but we take for granted what unfolds at halftime. A lot of the people that go to the games never see a band competition. I grew up with a father that was a band director, so I lived at band competitions growing up. I was there all day long. I understand, but most people don't. But what happens on the field is, it doesn't just happen. It's many hours, hundreds, thousands collective hours that make that possible. And like I said, a small miracle of 15, 16, 17-year-olds playing together in synchronization, moving together as one, and it really is a sight to see. It's very impressive. Okay, lightning round. Lightning round. Go. A few quick questions. Levi, favorite marching band song that y'all play? Give me a stand tune if.
Oh goodness, I'm gonna say Everlong, Foo Fighters, upcoming this year.
What was that?
Everlong, Foo Fighters, coming up.
It's going to be part of our show this year. Yeah.
Oh, part of the show this year. Okay. Favorite, Dr. Knauss, favorite football game night tradition?
Game night trap. Oh, crossing the bridge.
Really?
Always.
That's-
And hearing your voice call us out.
Oh, come on.
We love it.
Is that really your...
100%.
It looks so... It's one of those things that's like, all right, this is ours.
That's
and
right.
we talk about the Husky experience. Dr. Mark talks about the Husky experience. Things we want kids on the back and be... That's one of those things. It looks, from our perspective, when you're coming across and you look like just an army coming across... It does give me chills. It's like, all right, this is one of the reasons why we're doing this. All right, Levi, favorite away stadium that you've been to so far?
Gosh, trying to think about other ones. I don't like the Hoover one. I can tell you that. It's too close in. I can't. I'm gonna say, honestly, I love the Oak Mountain one.
Really?
I love Oak Mountains. It feels very lively.
Yeah.
When we go.
It's very dark. There's not enough light on our side.
Yeah.
But the Hoover one, it's not fair because that thing was built for sound.
Yeah.
And so they sit them underneath the ceiling that goes like this, and it throws the sound. So they've already got a band of
It's a lot, yeah.
12,000 people, but then it sounds like it's 36,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate you. Okay, most underrated instrument.
Most underrated.
Yeah, right here's the trumpets. What is the most underrated?
Oh, well, I was going to say trumpets, but that's because I'm a trumpet player.
Oh, okay.
You say,
And
honestly,
marches?
I was gonna say sousaphone.
Well,
I was gonna say sousaphone. This year we're gonna have 14 on the field.
Really?
That's huge number.
And most people call us tubas, but they're not.
That's right. Sorry, tubas, sousaphones, same thing.
Right.
Same thing, but they're the giant ones the kids hold. See them out there, and it's the largest instrument on the field.
14?
14 of them.
That is crazy.
Looking forward to putting out some sound.
That's exciting. Levi, best post-band camp meal.
oh gosh, this band camp.
You're gonna say Chick-fil-A?
I'm gonna say Chick-fil-A.
I knew you were going to say Chick-fil-A.
I love Chick-fil-A.
Because you're under 20 and everybody loves Chick-fil-A. It's like...
Don't stereotype that.
No, it's good. It's good. I don't mind Chick-fil-A. What's your favorite go-to meal at Chick-fil-A? You a minis guy?
Oh, I get #1 combo with
You go-
and I sub out with
OG.
Dr. Pepper frozen.
Okay, all right. You go Old Faithful, the #1 combo. Got it. Your favorite section to stand near when they're learning music? Wow.
Oh, that's a real hard one. When they're learning music.
Yep.
Well, typically I end up in front of everybody anyway, so it'll be the full band.
I would say saxes.
Saxes
Saxes are
probably.
a lot
We
of
got
fun.
some personalities in the saxophone
Yeah.
section.
Okay, that's my next question. I've heard people talk about how different
Yes.
instrument players have different personalities, and it's almost like you can like pick them out. What is the funniest instrument section in your opinion? Like they're just funny people.
Saxophones.
I would say saxophone.
100%.
Saxophones.
Really?
Trumpets are close behind, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What are drummers like?
Drummers, I never hear them talking.
They're intense.
Always, they're intense.
Are they intense?
They're
That's
intense
right.
and they don't talk. It's just like they're moving.
That's right.
Yeah.
They got a job to do always.
Yeah.
Favorite football opponent atmosphere? Other places that we go.
Other places that we go, I do think, and I'm gonna include when not just where we go, but when they come to us. But anytime we play Thompson.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anytime we play Thompson, because you know it's gonna be a fight no matter what.
Yeah.
And they remember you. And
They sure will.
They like to throw.
We might have cycled that out at this point, but I do think that there's that atmosphere, whether you're at Warrior Stadium or Husky.
Yeah.
We're it's going to be a battle.
Yeah. And they had the audacity of copying us, and their uniforms look like ours. So
Oh, there you go.
Oh yeah. Yeah. You can see the tension.
we generally don't like each other. Like even the band.
No, the band's fighting.
Yeah.
It's fighting every second while we're playing in tunes.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of fun. I do think we got to remember what it's for, and
Yeah.
we just enjoy that atmosphere.
Yeah. Well, it's we have Hoover coming to our place this year. We have Thompson coming to our place this year.
A lot of big games. Yeah.
There's a new rekindled rivalry with Spain Park for reasons I won't go into right now that we have coming to our place this year. So there's going to be some battles. So y'all got your work cut out for you. Favorite game day snack?
Oh.
Not post game, but game day.
Like during game?
Yeah.
Oh.
Gummies.
Gummies.
Okay.
100%. We have these like gummies. I don't know what they are, but during like the third quarter when we have them, it's just I don't know. It's
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you weren't a band director, what would you be doing?
God, that's a really hard question.
I didn't come here to give you layups.
Well, it's still about teaching for me. So there would be something else that I'd be teaching.
German.
I don't know about that, but if I wasn't a band director, I'd still be in the classroom.
So German, you have German descent?
I took German in high school. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't ask me to give you any words of wisdom. I can't.
Well, I was going to ask you about Knauss, because we all agree the K should be silent.
That's correct. Yeah.
There's a collective around. Well, there's not, but I think there should be. It needs to be Knauss.
Knauss.
Or
Well, the kids call me.
I don't come knocking at your door.
They call me K.
Yeah.
So
I don't
Dr.
crack
K.
I don't crack my knuckles, but
Yeah.
But it fits a band director because I mean, you know,
It's just different.
Yeah.
it's different.
It's just different.
Yeah.
That's why the kids call me Dr. K, though. It rolls off the tongue a little
yeah.
bit easier
Dr.
than
K.
it does for a.
That sounds-
Sometimes it
Knauss.
just K. It's just K.
I want to
Yeah.
be doctor or something, but you got to get there. So, well, guys, thank you so much. This has been fun. Best of luck to you this
Thank you.
year.
Yeah.
As you look back on your experience and you're about to go into your senior year, congratulations on everything you've accomplished. Of course, we're glad you're here and hope you're here another 30 years. And look forward to the band show this year. Can you tell us what the theme is this year?
Absolutely. So the show is called Yesterday, Today, and Forever. And the show will open with Right Now by Van Halen. We're going to jump into
This will be an everlasting.
An Everlasting Love by Natalie Cole. That'll be featuring our High Steppers. We'll go into Yesterday by the Beatles, which I'm sure will be a crowd favorite, and it is beautiful.
Yes.
Such a beautiful ballad that we're going to do. Our percussion will be featured in Alphaville's Forever Young.
Yeah.
And then we're going to close out the performance with Everlong by the Foo Fighters.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, we look forward to hearing it. You're going to be getting right down to business starting next week and the following weeks as you get into the next 6 weeks as we get into football season. And
That's right. If you need me, I'll be in my office.
you'll be sweating your you know what off out on me.
That's right.
Trying to find clothes that aren't drenched with sweat.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, guys, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thank you for tuning in and listening today. We're lucky to have you. And until next time, this is Chad Summers. Tiffany Hamilton will be back with us next time. And this has been the Husky Hound Podcast.